This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
That's us. And it's Paul Allen. He is I is he. Slim with the tilted brim. And here we go. The Minnesota Vikings have their annual night practice this evening. Once again, Saucy and Nordo will be on the scene with some hot audio action beginning at 6:30 on FM 100.3 KFAN and the vast and ever-expanding iHeartRadio app. Now, it would be excellent to see quarterback J.J. McCarthy hit on some big throws and find some rhythm. You know, with Justin sidelined due to a swoon over his hammy, they all are there to see J.J. McCarthy. Yes, many others matter. Yes, it is the ultimate team game. Yes, the quarterback wins the best in show competition basically with every single team. And this vivacious, gregarious, likable 22-year-old quarterback took a positive step over the weekend. And the majority of the people in the crowd tonight, I would imagine, will be donning their soon-to-be game-worn nines and pulling for J.J. McCarthy at the night practice at TCO Stadium at the Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. Now, reliable social media sources indicated Saturday, young J.J. was on fire. Moved it up and down the field, hit Addison for a sweet, sweet touchdown. And reliable social media sources also indicated linebacker Brian ONeill was tackling running back 3-2. And also, bless you. We lift up our hearts. We lift them up to 9 to noon. Reliable social media sources also indicated Brian ONeill, for whatever the reason, went to tackling running back Aaron Jones to the ground, which is a no-no in today's generational training camp. So right guard Will Fries went after ONeill. Then ONeill threw a punch at Fries. Then BYU rookie linebacker Tyler Batty ran in and drilled Jones. Then McCarthy got in the mix. And that's when it's like, That's when Kevin O'Connell stopped practice and got after the team a bit for a couple of minutes. And it was business as usual after that. Throwing punches at players wearing helmets, not the shrewdest choice man can make. When J.J. McCarthy entered the fray to stand up for Aaron Jones and his offense, that's probably when the head coach was like, oh, geez, that's a headache. Maybe McCarthy's hitting stride. Maybe he's hitting a stride. Week 1 in Chicago. Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, as you heard an hour ago from beloved CC, Courtney Cronin, super good at his job. And we've talked about that before, too. But it's fact. The Bears don't have the personnel McCarthy is facing right now.
Right.
I mean, they got Montez Sweat, and we like Montez Sweat. But, I mean, with Montez Sweat here, I mean, you got like 3 of those guys who rush like that. And you know, again, it fairly is part of the conversation with the Minnesota Vikings first offense that when you don't have to focus on Justin Jefferson, what changes with Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson is stark. And you can do different things when Justin's not practicing. And clearly it's something through which McCarthy is needing to work. Now, maybe McCarthy is hitting a stride anew. Because week 1 in Chicago, going against that personnel compared to what he's facing now, it's going to be dramatically different, but the game counts, and it's on the road, and it's going to be different. But let's not forget, the kids played in some really, really big football games and done so before like 100,000 people, too. So all that shouldn't cause him to find functioning trippability. Maybe J.J. McCarthy. Maybe he's a lights bright child. The crowd, the implications, the pressure, with no Gink and or Grenard bearing down on him play after play. Perhaps years down the road, the storyline, the narrative with J.J. McCarthy will be the bigger the moment, the better he plays, because that's kind of been the case the majority of his big spot football career. After all, he's facing day to day, and without Justin, and Will Fry's just started mashing man in pads and stuff like that. He's the right guard. Ryan Kelly gets days off, veteran type stuff. He's facing the strength of a Minnesota Vikings football team, and said strength starts right up the middle. So here's the proclamation. It's put it on ice. I've seen enough. The Vikings have one of the best front sevens in the National Football League. Not really. No need for the murmur. I mean, they had a quality front seven last year when you consider the edge guys are part of the front seven with Grenard and Van Ginkel.
Yeah.
But let's take it a step farther. Now, having one of the better front sevens with the linebackers and the defensive linemen, well, it now starts with defensive line depth. All right? Grenard and Van Ginkel are going to make massive plays like they did last year. And maybe Dallas Turner is ready to enter the rotation on a more consistent basis. But these defensive tackles overall might be the best I've witnessed in my 24 calling games for the team.
Oh, my gosh.
I said it.
Above average.
I'm not backing off.
That would include the Williams wall as part of this.
Well, those two right there, okay, so Kevin Williams has some HOF to him, even though he's not in it. Pat as the nose, I mean, the way he moved specifically horizontally and like getting around guys and the footwork. And
he was impressive for a big man.
Yeah, given how big he was, blowing up those screens, right or left flat. Right, but who was behind them? That's the key here.
Yep.
Is Hargrave is the star of the show. All right. And the Gentle Giant, 9 to noon Met Friday, it is a very, very tough block. I mean, if it was, all right, you got to nail this, or it's heaven or hell, where would you go for very best performer in training camp? I'd say Javon Hargrave.
For real. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely in a handful, but it may be right at the top.
Well, I love that, though, too, as you continue on. Sorry to clomp, but when you
Stop, you're not clomping.
When you interviewed Hargrave on Friday, it was just kind of a throwaway. It's all love, it's positive, it's camp, and he's joking around, and he finds his way to his spot, and 45, 50 sacks or so in his career from being one of the big guys in the middle. He kind of talked about, like, the old days, and I think you even set it up this way, kind of being the nose, being the three technique. That the nose is going to be the guy that clogs the lanes, the guy that takes on double teams and opens things up for the three technique. And Hargrave kind of intimated the idea that nowadays you need to rush from everywhere. So it's not just the one trick pony, so to speak, or that singular value set that the player offers. Not that Pat Williams did not offer a tremendous value set for what he was doing with the people around him. But now it's like Hargrave's got to rush. Allen's got to rush. And as much as we love Mr. Phillips, Harrison Phillips needs to find his way through once in a while, right? So from every single position on the D-line all the way across, bookended by Grenard and Van Ginkel, we need to be able to penetrate at each and every point. So it just that kind of brings it into this part of the conversation, which you were able to get out of Mr. Hargrave when you chatted with him on Friday.
You know what's happening right now? Elongated segment, which means what's happening.
Is it a marathon? Are we going to make it a marathon?
H-O-F. Yeah, we got to make this a marathon.
Okay.
Hall of Fame appliance store, Steve's Appliances, stevesappliances.com. Does anybody perchance need a washing machine? Because when you go to stevesappliances.com and you hit shop deals, you'll find a white smart front load washer.
Oh.
Where you can save about $350 on this beautiful thing right now. And it's in stock and on display at the store. It's on air, on demand, on fire, in stock, and on display. StevesAppliances.com, StevesAppliances.com. Go to the website and hit shop deals. And we bet you find some things that you like. Brian and Steve, thank you very much for the love. Position flexibility is what Nordo was talking about, and it's required for all, pretty much all. Taki Taimani, Jalen Redmond, yeah, they can play multiple positions, but it's Hargrave can play nose and pass rushing 3 technique. Like what Jonathan Allen, mostly a 3 technique, but you can use him at nose. Harrison Phillips can play the defensive end or the defensive tackle. You can move them all over the place, and that's a very big key to the equation. Because Hargrave, just for my taste, and he doesn't practice every single day because old people get breaks. Veterans get breaks. Big veterans get breaks. But when he's out there, holy cow, is he a handful. And I hope they go with him tonight. I don't see why they wouldn't. They had a walkthrough yesterday. So put your eagle eyes on Hargrave this evening and see what you think. Jonathan Allen can be high end. But here's the rub. All right, because again, I don't prefer to be best or worst ever guy, and certainly not here's the reality guy. But it's when I started thinking about it and like looking back at some teams, the Williams wall is defensive tackle immortality. So I'm not saying Hargrave and Allen are better than both those guys, but then you get to the next part. Jalen Redmond, Taki Taimani, and Levi Drake Rodriguez all look fantastic. And I'm not overstating that. Levi Drake Rodriguez, his first move off the snap it was quick last year. It's extremely quick this year. And he has become stronger and more confident as a situational pass rusher. And he's going to fit in nicely. And he might be your 5th guy in this mix. If you want to put Harrison Phillips in, then maybe he'd be the 6th. But they're all, with the exception of a couple, are going to play defensive end and defensive tackle. And what we saw from Redmond from under the cover of darkness last year was eye-opening for us. Taki Taimani is dramatically bigger and stronger than he was last year, specifically with his legs and his thrust and things like that. Looks like he's sitting on a really good run-stopping season. But the defensive line depth only will, A, bug quarterbacks where they don't like to be pestered, which is right up the middle, and B, only should open things for outside quality rushers to face fewer double teams. I mean, you keep this whole equation healthy, and defensive line depth absolutely is the strength of the Minnesota Vikings. And I say absolutely. Defensive line depth has become the strength of the Minnesota Vikings. And from a depth standpoint, Hargrave played 3, missed 14 last year. Jonathan Allen missed a bunch. To be able to rotate those guys in and out and use them situationally and know when you put Redmond, Taimani, Levi Drake Rodriguez, or whomever into those spots, and they're not going to be as good on paper, but situationally, it's not going to fall off dramatically. I'm telling you, when we start playing these games at Chicago on Monday Night Football, people are going to notice it. Specifically, the kid with the hair, Levi Drake Rodriguez. He's playing out of his mind right now, and I'm not overstating it. It's all on display tonight at night practice. So following bumper to bumper, make sure to listen to Nordo and Sauce with all the right reaction to the action, and right here on your audio leader for D-line depth, KFAN. Approaching the midway point of the audio presentation of 9 to noon at FM 100.3 KFAN. Recently, I had the opportunity to sit down and chat with the Minnesota Vikings right tackle, Brian ONeill. Brian ONeill, definitely a bona fide team leader. He's into his 8th training camp with the Minnesota Vikings. And the first question was, 75, how does training camp make you one of the best right tackles in the NFL?
Well, first of all, I get to go against Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Gennard every day, so that's a pretty good start for one. But for many years, I had Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin, and I've been fortunate enough to have really, really, really good defensive ends and outside linebackers to play against. Not only that, combined with this scheme that Coach Flores has, is one of the more difficult ones to block in the NFL of all the coordinators. So the combination of those two, hopefully will put me in a great position for the year.
Now, Brian will be 30 years of age in a month and a half. As your career winds on, do you notice anything different about your body when it comes to training camp or recovery or things like that?
Yeah, I definitely can have a lot less adult sodas on the weekends after games than I did probably my first 2-3 years. Right. It's more, around the clock, 24/7, 365 days a year of maintenance and trying to, stay optimal for as long as possible. Mm-hmm. Where before it was, we're playing football, we're having fun, I can do this forever. And then now you do things so you can hopefully not do it forever, but do it for a very long time.
So like on Mondays after games at age, 28 to 29, now 29 to 30, when middle of the season on, when you get up, do like more things? Is there a little more of the aches and the pains and just the little things?
Honestly, the last 2 years have felt better. Actually, the last year felt better, but the year after I had an Achilles surgery, that year felt really hard. You're not able to get your full training throughout the whole year. It's, something I've kind of talked to Christian about is there might be, little things that pop up here and there this year that you're not used to having to deal with just because your off season looked different. So, hopefully help him find ways to mitigate that. And hopefully, knock on wood, nothing like that happens to any of the other guys that we have to deal with in that regard.
It seems that there's a pretty good chance that you'll have 3 new starters to your left, when you guys head to Chicago September 8th for the regular season opener. On the other side of it, if you're specifically thinking about Garrett Bradbury, when friends of yours leave, how do you handle it?
That's the business of the NFL, right? You've learned to handle it. I've had tons of friends who have left this team that I've been very close with. Eric Kendricks, Kyle Rudolph, Adam Thielen, Anthony Barr, Garrett, Kirk. You build those relationships and those relationships last. I think it's just a great reminder for how hard this is and how hard it is to make this last. And so it's a good reminder for yourself that nobody's going to be here forever. Everybody's replaceable. So it's in a way, it's good motivation to I have to be better than I was last year. That's just a fact. Yeah. In order to be here, for as long as until they kick me out.
Well, I mean, and with all due respect to like Dalton Reisner and or Ed Ingram, and you'll see Ed when the Texans are here for the first preseason game, and Garrett before that with the joint practices. But it's like with you and Garrett, and I know you guys were close. It's not like you can't talk on the phone, FaceTime, text, stay friends. But it's important, isn't it, to like have people you can trust, people who you really develop deeply rooted friendships with within the offensive line room or on the team. I mean, that's important, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's really important. I talk to Garrett, dang near every single day, but I think me and CD are, starting to have that after 4 or 5 years together. I think we see things the same way. I think we can, we're in meetings. And I can just turn and give him a look, and he knows exactly kind of what I'm saying based on something we saw on film. Wow. So we're developing that. It's on me and him now, and Blake and guys who have been here. I guess that's the 3 that have really been here the most, that have played, to build that with Donovan, to build that with Ryan, to build that with Will, and build it as fast as possible. Because like you said, there's 3 new guys possibly in there to the left of me. Nobody cares at the end of the day. It's great. It's great in theory, but if that group doesn't produce, nobody's going to be like, oh, well, it's their first game as a unit. We need to go out and produce right away. So it's on us to build it every single day the right way.
Brian ONeill, right tackle for the Minnesota Vikings on the 9 to noon show. And when he says Ryan and Will, he means Kelly and Fries, a couple of former Colts who will start for the Vikings at center and right guard. Whether it's their Colts days or what you've seen so far, what do you know about those two?
They're big. They're big boys. Ryan's played a ton of football. He's seen a lot of defenses. He's seen a lot of different players. And they have great communication already. That's a great point that you made, is that they've been together for a long time. So they kind of have that thing where they can give each other a look. Now, me and CD need to integrate that with us and with Donovan and kind of make it one cohesive look, for the lack of a better term, and get there as quick as possible. But it's great that they've played together and been in the same room and know each other. Their wives know each other. It's a familiarity thing for those guys.
So a week and change ago, Chris Carter was at practice, and I was on the Vikings radio network perch memorizing numbers and stuff, and I was chatting with him a little. And little did I know Ryan Kelly is one of his favorite players over the last 10 years. And I asked him why, and he said he's one of the nastiest players that I've seen over the last decade. And that would be nasty within the rules, but nevertheless, what makes him nasty?
He's got an edge to him when he goes to practice. I think Wes Phillips was saying something to him today before walkthrough, like, "Hey man, like, smile. It's a great day for practice." And he was like, "I'm ready to have a great practice," right. Just with like a straight mean mug. So it's good to have those different personalities. I'm a little bit more.
Gregarious.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more gregarious. Let's have a great day. It's going to be awesome. Let's effing go. Ryan's like, it's time to go to work. So it's good to have a mix of different personalities where CD's super quiet, super cerebral. Yeah. Donovan's, coming into his own. Blake's a little bit more gregarious like me. Will Fries is a little bit more of your, 1980s mauling, like, yeah. Roll and hit him as hard as they can and, talk smack and be a big slob, which is awesome too. So there's a lot of different personalities.
Question I've been meaning to ask you for a little while, and it's the organized team activities. Those are optional. You attend all of them. You always attend the optional stuff. Why?
It's kind of just how I'm wired, I guess. I couldn't imagine there being something more important going on in my life than the Minnesota Vikings football. I mean, I love my wife. We don't have any kids. She supports me in everything that I do. Like, there's nothing more important going on in my life than the Minnesota Vikings football right now, other than my family and my wife. But, like, in terms of, this is what I live for, in a way, is like doing this and doing it right and chasing it. And like, we haven't gotten to that top of that hill yet, or over the hill yet. And like, I'm going to pour everything I can into this place and this team and these people getting over that hill.
Your quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, how outside of protecting him during games and plays can you expedite his progress? And I ask you that because you are a bona fide team leader.
I think one of the things we can be great with is helping him with a call up front that we could see, where in years past, Kirk necessarily didn't want to. Kirk wanted to run the entire show, because he had been in different systems, and it was it was very dialed into him. We can get up there and be like, "Hey, what do you think? You see that? You see that?" We can help him as we break the huddle, as we're on the line. After a play, we can. Hey, this is what happened here. Kind of, be in his ear, tell him what we see, tell him what we're feeling, and kind of grow him up with us as an O-line as we are starting to grow together.
Yeah, that stuff's so important. Donovan Jackson, when he's fully up to speed and when it's all starting to click with him, what do you will like about his game?
He's got tremendous lower body strength and power. His ability to bend and sit down on rushes, I would say, is similar to Christian Darrisaw in a way that they can bend their hips in ways that most guys can't. And they're super flexible with a balanced, strong base. I think that's something you can't really teach. You can teach a lot of technique, but you can't really teach the ability to bend and play low with a strong, powerful base.
Two more for Brian ONeill. Thanks a lot for the time, too. Into your 8th season. When the regular season begins, is it to the point now where you get up to the line of scrimmage, it's like, oh, hey, Rashawn, or, oh, goody, Aiden's back. Hey, Aiden, how you been? I mean, you've gone against some of those guys so many times, and some of the best pass rushers in the NFL you've blocked. That's part of being a veteran, right?
Yeah, that's part of the deal. Somebody said to me this summer, it was like, man, you guys play a lot of good pass rushers this year. And I was like, where have you been for the last 7 years? If you look around the league, there's guys everywhere right now. There's a ton of talent in our division on the defensive front, for one. So that's, Coach Flores always calls them divisional relationships, and we're going to know each other pretty well, and it's it's going to be a challenge, but it's the NFL. That's what it's for.
And in closing, last one, and this sounds more like a regular or postseason type question, but I'm just wondering what your take is on this. Not having Justin Jefferson as an offense during training camp practices, how does that change the overall output of the offense, even here in training camp?
I like to think of it as, if we can learn to function at a really high level without him, it's only going to really, really, really help when we get him. So it will, he can't just be a safety blanket for us, if that makes sense. He's going to have, hopefully go for 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns and 120 catches. That would be amazing. He has that kind of talent, and he's going to bring that. We know what he brings to our offense, but it's going to be on everybody else to collectively pick up, and then, he will be a very, very, very welcome and added bonus when he does get back.
But nevertheless, even against your own guys in training camp, I would imagine Flores' defense can do some different things that otherwise they wouldn't be doing, potentially, if Justin was out there. Is that fair?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel like we're getting their whole the whole kitchen sink in terms of the fronts and the blitzes we're getting. I don't really know coverages that well to see, are they two-man? Are they doubling Justin?
But what I'm saying is if Justin's there, they're not going to single him every time, which means probably one fewer rushing, maybe less pressure, not as many times,
Sure, yeah. He definitely brings a sense of relief to our whole offense because of the attention he brings, for sure. Yeah.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
That's PA with Vikings tackle Brian ONeill. A chance to catch up over the weekend. Thanks to Brian for his time on that. Thank you for listening as we turn the corner to news. Next, it's 9 to noon. What up, 9 to noon? It is News du Nord, and News du Nord is brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. It's poker, blackjack, and table games all year round. Every day you can feel the felt. And then you have some sips and chips, and you tip Derek Allen, and you enjoy the amazing people that work in the card casino, and you're like, hey, this is one of the coolest spots in Shakopee. Then you walk about 100 feet to we'll call it as the crow flies, I believe that's towards the west, and you'll ultimately find yourself outside watching live racing. There are so many different things to do at Canterbury, so CanterburyPark.com.
And then you head 100 yards north, like heading to Valley Fair on the grandstand apron. You do that Friday, and you get a chance to see a band called Three Dog Night.
Oh, there we go. Ink is black.
Wow.
The page is white.
Well done.
No.
Most people go right to Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Oh, it's an elite song, too.
Friend, joy to the world.
Never understood a single word he said, but he sure made some mighty fine wine. Yeah.
And Mama told me not to come. Mama told me not to come.
I didn't know Three Dog Night had some awesome songs.
I got boxed up so hard last week. It's like Three Dog Night. I'm like, cool, Joy to the World. The one that you sang, but I didn't think that there were more. But there are like 5 or 6 more. They got this one called Shambhala that I've heard. One is the loneliest number. Hey, look at you making plays. Child of the 90s, Fancato, raised on ramen. MTV ain't playing a lot of Three Dog Night. What the heck's happening here?
Which, by the way, you had MTV. Maybe you still do. I don't know what was going on in there. It's a different world on the music television station than what I remember growing up. I don't know.
Well, they don't have hosts. So you don't have Super Special JJ or Martha Quinn.
Yeah.
Or the guy I met in the mid-90s in Russian Hill in San Francisco, the Russian Hill
Puck?
area.
Did you meet Puck?
Well, I met Puck at Little Joe's. He was eating stromboli. I was having clams. And there were a bunch of cameras and a bunch of streets shut down and everything out Little Italy, Russian Hill way.
Oh, for the filming of Real World.
Real World, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But the host, Mark Goodman.
Yeah, that's beyond me.
It's not Mark Goodman, Bill Todman Productions. It was something Goodman for MTV. And they were like at the same table. I met him and everything. And they had hosts and they had bits and stuff. And Well, now they have scantily clad rubes riding motorcycles with those of the nefarious variety chasing them.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Most people would grow up watching Dan Rather deliver the news. I watch Kurt Loder on MTV.
Oh, Kurt Loder was the bomb.
I know, and
it was worldly, like concerts and news. And
yeah.
David Bowie's performing at so-and-so in Tibet, and it's his first show in so long, and I'm Kurt Loder.
I felt very informed. Not a lot of Three Dog Night, though.
Yeah.
On the it was normally like I'd get home from elementary school. I think The Grind was on. Like DJ Eric Nyes or Niece was spinning some wax, and all the scantily clad young people were dancing on some sweet beach somewhere. Oh yeah, MTV has shaped me.
You got ripped this weekend at Canterbury Park.
Oh, geez.
By the chairman and the boss, Randy Sampson. How's Nordo? He's doing great. Why do you ask? Well, because he took us for $750 about a month and a half ago. We haven't seen him since. Hell. I'm like, wow, you just kind of ripped Mad Producer One. Follow him on Twitter, boss, if you're so inclined. And we're just kind of wondering when you're going to come back and chance those greenbacks again. Hell.
Well, what's the protocol? What is the etiquette where if Canterbury takes my money, I have the free choice to then go back? Like, I want to get some of that back.
Yeah.
But do I necessarily have to give Canterbury a shot to take the money that I took from them?
No.
You gave me the key to the money room, if
Yeah.
only for a half hour, and
Yeah.
I was humble. I only took what I needed in that $750. But I'm scared to come back because I know I'm going to give it back.
The protocol actually is beat an entity like Canterbury Park or Planet Hollywood or Paris or Caesars or Turtle Lake or whatever for as much as you can beat them. And if you choose to never go back, that makes you of the shrewd variety.
Is there a spot in the press box? Maybe, is it this Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a spot open? In case maybe somebody just wanted to drop by and just kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
Do a little handshaking. Sink into some of the knowledge, maybe of one they call the Oracle, those sorts of things. Would there be room for one more up there?
Well, the answer mostly is yes, because the couch has had a spot, one of only two spots that reclines in the CBY track flat with, 12, 13 TVs on in front of us with hot horse racing action and sporting activity with your name on it for 2.5 months since you took us for about 3,200 in that pick 5 you hit, and we haven't seen you since. So we got Bruce the Meyer Oracle and the Litz and everybody up in the CBY track plaque, including Gorgomatic 2-1, wondering, where's the con been? He's sitting on that 3,200. He ain't coming back here and playing again. And I'm like, I mean, life's expensive, man. We got inflation, stuff like that.
All kinds of stuff.
So that's the protocol,
right.
Is beat them as badly as you can beat them, because few beat them.
And run for the hills.
And when you beat them, jump on that white horse, call it wildfire, head over Yellow Mountain, got a couple of satchels by your side, full of greenbacks. And if you never look back, then you never look back. However, part of that protocol from a shrewd and wise standpoint is if and or when you do capitalize on the short-term investing game and it goes your way, don't head south, and it's not far south,
right?
But don't head relatively close south.
Yeah.
Pull the levers, lose all of that, hit the ATM for 1,000, lose that, hit the credit card for another 1,000 for a penny lever, and lose that. Now all of a sudden you're depressed. Don't do that.
And you know what? As well as you know me, I never, ever will, PA. I never, ever will.
And that is a 10 of 10 authentic validation of honesty.
Speaking of money, we got some money issues in the NFL. And I just think with the Cowboys in particular, do you ever get the feel like I think Jerry Jones loved being mired in controversy?
Oh, goody. It's P. Fox and he's hyper.
Oh, P. Fox ready to rock the 11 o'clock hour.
That's interesting you say that, because I was listening to NFL radio this weekend and they were replaying some stuff from like interviews during the week and just wonderful just wonderful information that's delivered. and super well-respected. One of the super well-respected hosts pretty much brought up exactly what you said. It's almost like at this stage of his life, to stay in the news cycle, see your name, read your name, and know that you are part of the NFL's A topic.
Yeah.
I mean, we got NFL PA bosses and allegations of cheating and who's going to be next and, some other things that are transpiring. But Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys is the A topic, and Jerry's in the news every single day. So him craving drama, yeah, I think you nailed it.
Well, you might be talking about the best defensive player in the NFL. He's like, and he just writes this little, I don't know, it's not a manifesto, but it's like, I don't want to play for the Cowboys anymore. And they're like, hey, Jerry, what do you think about it? Yeah, I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Right.
He doesn't care.
Right.
He does not care. It's going to be the A topic in the news atop every headline, little news bit, link, ledger. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter to him because he knows he's got nothing. I could trade him, certainly, and I get a haul, or I can make him play for me. Yeah. One thing that he probably won't do is hold out, because that's only going to impact his ability to get that $40+ million a year that he wants.
Yeah.
He's sitting in the catbird seat. Yeah, bring it on. Whatever, guys. Long time. Been doing this. No big deal.
Well, some of these owners, as they advance in age and recognize the end is nearing, and you can take the word end and run with it whichever way you want. It could be life. It could be end of a tenure, a stewardship, owning a team. That they're getting dramatically more frontal publicly, and you have that example there. I can't remember who owns the Cincinnati Bengals. It might be Mike Brown. It might be the Brown family.
It is the Brown family, yes.
Okay. Somebody was chatting a couple of weeks ago when that rookie, not Shamar Stephen, but Shamar Stewart. Shamar Stewart, the Texas A&M pass rusher, was refusing to sign his contract. Trey Hendrickson was doing the same thing. So the owner of the team's talking about both of them, and, was short on Trey. He went down the road of like, all right, let me get this straight. He's not signing it because it has zero to do with years or money or guarantees or bonuses. He's refusing to sign it because he doesn't like the language that we've put in there for what happens if he becomes an L off the field. Now, I don't exactly know what happened to this young man at Texas A&M, but there were some problems, or problema, or problemza.
Right.
But he basically is like, I've never seen anything like this. It's like we're saying, if you mess up with like these categories, here's what happens, and it's like you lose this.
Right.
It's common sense.
Correct.
I have no idea why he's not signing. My man signed the next day, and he's at Bengals camp the next day. But nevertheless, Mr. Brown, along with Jones, Arthur Blank to a certain extent this offseason at one point. Now, these rich owners and the ones who are older and approaching the end, they're starting to get a little crotchety on the microphone with the public.
I wonder, and it'd be difficult. I mean, so many contracts. But what is the most preposterous thing, like from a fine print standpoint, the language that's ever been put into a player's contract? And while you were talking about this with Shamar, that took me to the Cardinals with Kyler. Yeah. Remember the bit where it was leaked or released that he had to like limit his Call of Duty or his Xbox playing time?
Yes.
And everyone was like he had to commit to like 45 minutes a day or some kind of study regiment with the playbook.
And they wanted details written down by him of what he studied.
Oh my God.
And then they took it out. Okay.
Give me a book report, Ava. Give me a book report, Stella.
It was embarrassing, but it also was polarizing.
Yeah.
Well, that general manager no longer, I think, is Monty Ossenford now. Minnesota go crazy. Southeast Minnesota go crazy. It was polarizing in that it let everybody know exactly what they think of Kyler Murray's study habits. And secondly, it was inflammatory by nature, and that stuff like that shouldn't go public.
Yeah.
That may be the craziest, because my answer to your question was going to be, it would involve, I think, 2006, around there for the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
And the money mogul, Rob Brzezinski.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he did something unprecedented. And, I mean, it was, oh, geez, that's a headache. Let's nobody ever do that again. It's, it's like somebody walking around a football team saying, all right, let me get this straight. How is it we don't have social media mandates around here? We don't have a social media plan or anything? All right, cool, 3-2. Well, this was like, Goodell or whomever was like, how can something like this happen? Well, Brzezinski's brilliant. So it never will happen again. We get Hutch. There was weird language in there. Well, the next season, the Chickens did the same thing involving Nate Burleson.
Oh, yeah.
They put a poison pill in Nate Burleson's deal, and part of it was you Burleson, over X amount of time, cannot play a football game within a 30-mile circumference of Minneapolis, Minnesota. So it's like you can't come back and get him. And then I'm thinking, well, like, what if you guys meet in the playoffs? And, well, there was language for that, too. No. If he's wearing purple and gold, he can't. But if he's wearing the electric green of the Seattle Super Chickens, he can.
Well, I love, too, and I think he changed it, but Hutchinson's like Twitter, his I think he was Poison Pill 76. Like,
the bomb.
He wore that like a badge of honor.
The bomb.
That he was the part of that. And you're right. Those are no longer accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Terry McLaurin wants $30+ million. Commanders aren't budging. Yep. James Cook, Dalvin's brother, wants new money. He's holding in. And Jared Allen did his HOF speech, played that earlier. Twins avoided sweeps, but have lost every series since the All-Star break, and the Lynx obliterated the Aces. That's all the news that I got for you.
Parker Fox is a weekly piece, 9 to noon. He puts the power in Power Forward, and in the final hour Mondays of 9 to noon. Old Pete Fox joins us to chat the world of sporting activity around the corner at FM 100.3 KFAN.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. And push your gameplay beyond limits with Intel Core Ultra processors. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel Inside. Maximize your edge by shopping at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.